All right. For the audience that does not know you, feel free to introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle Fletcher. Some of you might know me as K Fletcher Photography, and I'm an automotive videographer and photographer located here in South Florida, United States, that specializes in creating content, photo, video, and documentation of all things automotive.
All right. So, I found you because you photograph cars, basically. That's just for anybody that doesn't know, especially exotic cars. So what got you into that?
Uh, wow. Specifically exotic cars. I mean, dude, I gotta say, just everything ultimately pays back to just when you're younger. And for me, it was always, growing up and watching, Fast and Furious and watching Paul Walker drive the R34 Skyline. And then as I got older, I got more into, you know, honestly, Transformers was one of them. Like I remember when Transformers, I think it was like, excuse me, I think it was like Dark Side of the Moon. I think I was like 17 years old. And I remember one of the Transformers was a Ferrari 458 Italia. And then at the same time, Forza Motorsport came out. And then the cover car was like the 458 Italia. So I think it was around the time when, I was just a big gamer in Forza Motorsport and just the main menu music and the cars on display there and watching Top Gear and watching Jeremy Clarkson driving all these exotic cars and, entertaining and having fun with them. I kind of, just kind of radiated and inspired me to go, I want to create in this realm. And so I just gravitated towards that. So yeah, here I am.
Well, what got you to where you are now? What got you to where you are now, though, right? Because you're running an account with something like 100,000 followers, well over 100,000 followers. Most people never get to that level, right? So what separated you from like the other 1,000 guys that are shooting cars?
I would say it was never really my focus just to separate myself from everybody. My main focus, and still to this day, was just to always be original and just to always create things that made me go, wow, that's sick. And in hopes that it would, you know, radiate and gravitate towards an audience. But ultimately, I just always created just for myself and just created, I wanted things to look the way that my eye saw it, my creative mind saw it. And I just wanted those to see how I saw things, if that makes sense. So, and still to this day, I just do everything based on how I see it, and I just create things that make me go, "Wow, that's sick," and then I just put it out for the world to see, and I'm very blessed to be where I'm at. So,
I mean, yeah, man, I got friends of mine that follow you. Like I looked on your account and I'm like, I got a buddy of mine that follows you. I'm like, damn, this guy has like 113 mutual followers. Um, you know, what's that like being like known too for what you're doing?
you're pretty good with the questioning. I feel like I'm not really known. I feel like I'm just like this small little, this grain of dust in a massive desert of sand. But it's very cool. It's very humbling to see that my work is inspiring the next generation of creators out there. It's nice that I'm on my 11th year and I'm not even 30 yet. I'm only 29 years old. So for me to be doing this somewhat quote unquote as a seasoned veteran, I guess, you know, just to see that passion being given to the next generation is pretty cool. I try to be nice all the time. I try to be kind. I try to be real, just to be real and upfront with everybody that I cross paths with. So it's I just do my best to not allow that to get to me. I do my best to not allow that to just say, "Oh, I'm known." Like, no, I go in there and the color of my blood is the same as yours. It's the same as everybody. So, is it cool that somebody could recognize me? It is. It's pretty cool. But other than that, it's just just I'm just a normal human being.
Well, with recognition, I'm sure you're getting a lot better offers than most guys.
Yes,
I mean, I would
that
assume so.
I'll agree with you. Yes, I'll agree with you on that. Me being a seasoned vet, even though I'm not even old, this industry makes me feel old because of how much I've seen the culture change and how much I've seen the content creation change and the type of fans that are coming into this world that are passionate about the automotive world. I'm seeing more caring about what people do for a living to make all that quick cash that not really that many people really, are that passionate of an enthusiast anymore. So to answer your question, it's nice, and yeah, to get the offers and stuff for being recognized, it's a blessing. It's nice. It just makes me appreciate the last 11 years of just hustle, 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 hustle. And when I'm given something really cool, like today, I shot a Lamborghini Revuelto lowered on wheels. So it's like that they called me up to do, and they thought of me to be useful to them. I think that's like one of the coolest things about it. So I'd say that'd be a perk.
Well, what do you think the most interesting offer that you've gotten is?
Damn, George. Man, the most interesting offer that I've ever gotten. I did a podcast about a month ago, and I already said that one, so I can't say this one again, even though that's probably it. I would say the most interesting offer. I'd say one of the coolest ones recently, not recently, that I've gotten to do was getting invited out to a airport where I got to shoot a one-off in a modified Porsche 918, and I got to shoot it next to a retired L-39 fighter jet that was, I think, part of the Israeli military, I want to say, and it's over here in America now. So getting to shoot amongst that was pretty cool. Getting flown out to like Pennsylvania and shoot alongside Corsa Performance and the new C8 and the GT500, and getting to do all that kind of stuff and create with them. Those pretty cool offers. I'd say the most interesting one that nobody knows about still to this day is because of her fame was the Bad Bunny girl. Like Catch Me Outside, how about that girl? Back when she actually first blew up, I had a friend who was associated with her, and he messaged me saying, "Hey, we need content. She's blowing up, on the internet." And I remember I photographed her with cars and stuff like that. And I was paid and all that stuff, but I was told to keep it quiet. And the photos were actually used to really escalate her platform to where she is today. And obviously, we all know the Bad Bunny girl, like Catch Me Outside. How about that girl? So I'd say that was a pretty interesting one, was that I got to meet her during the hike of that whole Dr. Phil thing. I don't know if you ever knew about that, but I'd say that was probably one of the most interesting ones.
Well, with that being said, I got to ask, who do you think, well, number one, what's the most expensive car you've ever shot?
I would say a LaFerrari Aperta, which is about $5 million.
Any Bugattis?
Still to this day, I've never shot a Bugatti. I've never driven one. A friend of mine, Raul, just got one, and he has his being serviced right now. So he told me that when it comes back, that I could take it out and go drive it and photograph it. And do my whole YouTube stuff. So that I'm really looking forward to, because I've only ever been around Bugattis. I've never actually had one in front of my lens, because I've never actually had a one-on-one time with them. So I'd say Bugatti Chiron and then a Lexus LFA are like the two cars that I really want to give it a shot, quote unquote shot. So
You'll get there. You'll do it. I have faith in you. If you haven't
Thank you,
already,
George.
you should post on your story, like, anybody got a Bugatti, use your clout a little.
I'll give. So I did. So again, my good friend Raul has one, and I'm planning something with him. He has a beautiful spec. It's silver, black wheels, black carbon accents with red brakes. So I got something in the works for him. So by the time everybody sees this, they'll know that shoot's coming down the pipeline.
Who do you think the richest person you've ever shot for is?
Oh, I know who it is, but I can't disclose that for personal reasons. But this person owns one of the largest food companies in the world, and like food processing companies.
I actually might know who you're talking about, and I'm not going to say this person's name, but I think I know actually who you're talking about. Keep going with it, though.
They own the largest food processing company in the world, and it's worth like almost $1 trillion. And I know the owner of it. So
wait, let me wait. You're on your phone right now. Can you check Instagram to see if the name I'm gonna text you I just text or the company. Can you see the company I just texted you? See if that's accurate.
No, I know who that person is. Yes, I know who that person is, but no, not that one. This is somebody even bigger than that.
Really? So, but you saw
Yeah,
the text I sent though.
yeah, I know that person. He's a really good friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I could say his name, Antonio. No, he was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool people.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, though, trillion. So, how much is the net worth of the individual, if you can say, higher or lower than $1 billion?
Oh, I would say no. I know the net worth of him. He's probably worth, I'd say about 500-600 million. Mhm. And he's the most
How does that?
nonchalant guy. Flip flop shorts, t-shirt, and you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea.
How does
Traveling
that?
all over the world all day, every day, no worry in the world except a cold beer in his hand is what he always says. So, nah, he is the most nonchalant guy. You'll have no idea that he's worth the price of the state of Rhode Island. So, I'm kidding. But no, he's a really good guy. He's a really good friend.
What kind of car are you driving right now?
I'm actually in my daily. I have a Toyota Corolla daily. I'm not in the GT3 RS today. It's actually in storage. I just left the Lamborghini Revolto shoot, so I didn't want to drive my RS all the way down to South Miami, where Prestige Imports is and Lamborghini Miami is. So I didn't want to put all those miles on. Not that I don't want to put the miles on it because I love driving the car, but yeah, I just wanted to hop in the beater, head down there, not have to worry about scraping, hitting anything, and anybody hitting me because down here in South Florida, we don't really have the best drivers. So
So to be exact, you're what's it called? Just to clarify, you're based in Florida, right?
yeah, so I live in Weston Sunrise area in Florida. I'm living here my whole life. I'm 29 years old. I've been living here my whole life. Traveled the world, traveled the country. I haven't traveled the world yet, but traveled the country. And yeah, I'm just here, South Florida, Miami area, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. That's the whole area that I cover. Hmm.
Yeah. Ever do shoots in New York or Jersey? Because that's where I'm from.
So my
Jersey.
family's actually from Jersey and New York area. So yeah, no, my family's from Freehold, New Jersey. So they're from that area, and yeah. So
All right. So actually, when you're talking about your growing up and being from Jersey originally, talk to me a little bit about that journey of like what were some of your first shoots? Like how were you getting those sort of deals? Like when you're first starting as a photographer, it's rough. You don't
yeah.
you don't really even have a portfolio. You
Mhm.
have to build everything up. So what was that like?
Um, dude, it was like every day. I remember I was in high school, and it was every day I would leave my student parking lot and I would just find the nicest car that somebody in my parking lot would have. Like that was when air suspension came out. So a really good friend of mine, Zach, had a G37S and he bagged it. And like at that time, everybody was like, "Oh my God, air suspension, that's insane." So he helped me greatly. I had a really rich friend that had a 997.1 GT3. We had a lot of fun with that. I had another really good friend of mine that was very well off. He always had nice cars. He had like a Bag 5 Series. He had a BMW i8 that was on air suspension. He would take out his father's Huracan to his F12 Berlinetta, and he helped me greatly with that. So I was very blessed to network and make friends with all the right people, I guess. And again, just be kind and just be nice and just take every opportunity you can because money comes back, opportunity doesn't. So I always live by that, and I still live by it to this day. Money comes back, opportunity doesn't. So whenever the opportunity arises, hop on it because it might never come back. You might never get it again.
What do you think? What do you think your greatest success was when it came to everything you've done, all the photos, whatever in your life that you've done? What do you consider your greatest success?
My greatest success now. That's a very good question, George. I'd say my greatest success now when I was younger would always just be materialistic items as a way to showcase my success. Now, as of right now, being 29 years old, going on my 11th year, I would say my greatest accomplishment now is having to master the ability to give back, learn every day, obtain self-wealth, be emotionally intelligent for not only myself, but for others, just to be a man about things, just going about approaching things quietly, soundly, thinking things through. You know, I'd say that would be my greatest accomplishment now, is just master that ability of understanding all things, or attempting to understand all things, so you could always be fluid and alkaline with others. I would say what my biggest flex today would be. Mhm.
Well, going from being a young kid to now, who just
Don't you
basically,
dare call me old, George. Don't you
yeah,
dare do it.
to to a man.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
18, so I can call you old. No, I'm kidding.
Very
But
funny.
no, but I was gonna say, going from being a kid in high school to now, being out of college, and you're still doing it. But did you go to college?
I went for a semester, realized it wasn't for me, and I dropped out and never looked back.
Well, technically still out of college, so I'm not off by saying that. But
Mm-hmm.
being out of school entirely and still doing this, however, like 11-ish years later, like you were saying, what advice would you give to young people who are kind of struggling with finding their path, considering you found one and you stuck with it?
It's a good question. I would say, for me, I got so addicted to what I do, and I'm still addicted to what I do to this day, that I was just so passionate and just so focused on wanting to just create and entertain others was like my thing. And I just got a lot of inspiration growing up from my heroes growing up. Like my father was one. Um, I looked up to a lot of sports figures like Tom Brady, Roger Federer in tennis. Just looking up to such successful individuals that were just so classy and addicted to what they did, that they loved it and they want to just be better at it every day. And I'd say that'd be my thing today, was that I just found that, and I just won't stop, because I just love creating. I love the automotive industry of what it is, and I just love showcasing and entertaining everybody that I can with what my eye and my mind sees. I'd say that would be it. So for somebody to find that, it would just be, the level of dedication they have towards it. It would have to be like, how bad do you want to be? Like, okay, do you like it? That's cool. Everybody could like it. Oh, I like cars. That's nice. But do you love it? Like, oh, I like racing, but do you love it? I like working out, but do you love it? That separates. Like, I like working out every day. I don't love it enough to be a competitive bodybuilder, but I like it enough that I do it every day. Where somebody that wants to make it in the creator world, it's just like, okay, you could like a camera, you could like creating, you could like this, you could like that, but do you love it enough that you're constantly going to get better and better and better and better and better until it consumes your life daily? Like, that's that threshold to excel at, is, how badly do you want it? Mm-hmm.
Well, we're talking a lot about your successes and the things you've done right. Let's talk about the things you've done wrong.
Oh
Right?
God. Oh God.
What do you consider your greatest failure?
My greatest failure. Damn you, George. My greatest failure, what I would say, when I was younger, I would say, was allowing my ego to just turn me into somebody that just was not good to be around. As my name started to become recognized, or as it started to grow in the community, in the space that I'm in the automotive world, I allowed that to become a little cocky, and I wasn't humbled. I allowed me to just to ruin friendships, and it just allowed me to be somebody that I wasn't, and it allowed me to just not be a good person to those that cared about me and loved me, like I said. So my biggest failure was, losing good people in my life that didn't deserve to be lost or cut off by my own actions, because those are people that I worked really well with, or have given me great opportunity in life, or have been there behind, or that have had my back for so long. And I'd say my biggest failure was not being emotionally intelligent enough to understand, or being empathetic to others, that I just always allowed my career choice to be the forefront of everything, and I would just be so addicted to the industry that I'm in, and creating and creating and creating, that, yeah, that I would just, my biggest failure was that I didn't recognize that early enough, I would say. But I guess it happened at the right time because now I'm in the proper headspace. But at the time, I would say it'd be that.
Well, I mean, even as a young kid, if there was one mistake, I mean, throughout all of your career, just one mistake that you made that like really sticks with you to this day, one specific one that you're.
It would be too personal. Oh man, that would be like way too personal, even just to get that off, man. It would be. Oh man. One particular moment, man. Oh man, that's 11 years of. Dude, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I know one, but it's very, 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 very personal that I keep that locked away in the vault. But just know that it is there, that there is one there. So anybody that's wondering what it is, if you want to message me privately, I'll tell you. Or anybody that's watching this that is that curious and want to know, I'll tell them. But for me to put it on the open air like this, I gotta keep it. I'm gonna keep that one locked away.
Is it career based?
Because
that's what I meant. I meant more like a career based mistake.
It kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a mixture of both. It was career based or not career based. So it involved my career, yes, and just a horrible decision that I made. And again, I'll explain it more in person, but I just want to keep that one locked away.
Okay. No, I understand. Well, but what did you learn from that experience?
Oh man, now that I can answer you, the ripple effect, I would say, for those that are watching that I guess want to understand failure and accountability, is that you need to understand that every action has an equal or opposite reaction. It's basically exactly like science. I never understood the ripple effect of my own actions. I always thought that if I chose something based on my choice in life, that I wouldn't have to face the consequences or the reaction of it. So I guess now, for those that are understanding failure in life, just understand that every choice that you make is obviously in your own best interest, but you have to understand that the choice that you make in life will have a reaction that will bounce off of somebody else, that'll make somebody else feel a certain way. So I guess to backtrack, to answer how to understand failure is understand it and keep moving forward. And that process, that the time that it takes for you to understand your failure and then to move forward, that time gap could either be, a day, a week, or a month. And it's in that moment that once you move forward and you keep moving forward and you keep going and you promise yourself that, that you won't allow that failure to happen again if it was in your own choice, your own best interest, if you caused it, or even if you didn't cause it, I guess understanding failure is just accept, just understand what happened and just to keep moving forward and make sure it doesn't happen again and just grow from it.
Are there any stories of really insane like people that you shot for? Like really like out there, like interesting people that you shot for that like kind of still stick with you? Maybe something they said or did. You don't have to name the people, but
no, I'll name them. I'm friends with them. So I think one of them was David Dobrik. Was pretty cool. I was out in California. I was with my buddy Heath, who's friends with him, and David Dobrik has a what was it? It was an Aston Martin 707.
He has a lot of cars.
SUV.
He has a lot of cars.
Yeah, it was one of those, and he called me one day through my buddy's phone, and I thought it was my buddy Heath. He answers, and it's David Dobrik, and he goes, "Hey, I want a GT3 RS," and I go, "Well, hey, I want $1 million, but you don't see me getting that." That was just a joke, but I'd say David Dobrik was pretty cool. I got to work with him. My buddy Heath, I got to work with. Another good friend of mine, Dom, and Chris Bumstead. They've become really good friends of mine. But yeah, I'd say that'd be it.
What was David Dobrik like in person?
Exactly how David Dobrik is on video is exactly how he is in person. And that's with no cameras on. I wasn't recording him. Like exactly how he was in person is exactly how he is on camera or vice versa. He is a legitimate, just a nice guy. So.
Well, that being said, I mean, then, well, what cars do you have? Because, we're talking about people that have a lot of cars and a lot of money and wealth. What cars do you have?
Throughout throughout what I currently have, I have a 991.1 GT3 RS. Throughout time, I'd say, dude, my first car that I bought was a 392 Charger, and then I got another 392 Charger, and then I got a Hellcat wide body, blacked out, murdered out Hellcat Charger wide body. That got stolen, and then that came back, sold that. I got a Porsche Taycan, and then I sold that. I got a Toyota Supra, the limited edition 6-speed when that car came out, the Mark V. Got rid of that, and then I got a GT4, a 718 Cayman GT4, 6-speed manual. Got rid of that, and then now I have my GT3 RS. But I've had those in my dailies throughout that time. I've had 2 GR Corollas. I've had Mini Cooper, John Cooper's Works, which that was one of my favorite cars, a little John Cooper's Works Mini Cooper. Love that little thing. Little go-kart. Love that thing. That thing was a lot of fun, but yeah.
Now let's talk about, you were talking before about the good people you used to shoot for. Let's talk about somebody that you shot for that you really didn't like afterwards. You don't have to name them again.
Dude, there's too many of them. There's too many of them.
One,
it's like,
but like one in particular that like you think about it and like it gets your blood boiling.
Okay.
Like, now.
I know exactly that person. So this one person that I shot with, he was blowing up my phone. Then he wanted to shoot with me. I said, okay, this is my rate, this is my deposit, whatever. I was like, okay, you have to meet down with me here at 7 o'clock in the morning. He was like an hour and a half late. And, I didn't want to leave because I was so far invested down there that, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Whatever. And that was my own wrongdoing. He was about an hour and a half late. And the second he got there, he was all dressed up, iced out in like 3 chains on and stuff. And he goes, yo, man, I'm here for my photo shoot. I'm just like, okay. And then immediately I had no creative control. They took over everything. They wanted this, they wanted that. They just really just wanted, they just had like this itch and this ego and this image in their mind that they just wanted it to just be flashy. And that's not me. So that happened. And then, dude, I then like right after that, he was just blowing up my phone like the second we got done, yo, the video's done or the photo's done. And then he would be nagging on John, just wanted him to be blasted all over social. And like it was like a purple and lime green and yellow car. Like it was like, I'm telling you, it was all over the place. And it was just didn't care, never said please, thank you, just took it's just so much that you definitely are going to get me going, because it was just like, you never know how much you're worth until you have your time wasted. And it was this person that made me realize that. So, and it's just, oh man, it just made me realize that I just strongly dislike, I don't hate anybody. It just made me strongly dislike those that think their blood is more pure than others, when in reality, we all have the same color blood. We're all the same person.
Well, so I mean, you talked about like how that kind of taught you to manage your time a little bit, and what your time is really worth. But with people like that, right? Why do you think the guy was like that? Like, did you ever talk to him again? Like, did he never apologized? I'm guessing. Like, no,
he was just harassing me after that. That I gave him the videos, I gave him the photos, and he just kept pushing me more and more and more of like, can you edit it this certain way? And then the second he started to critique it, and he's not a creator or anything, oh, can you make me look more orange and stuff? I'm like, what? Like, yeah, you hired me for a service based on the work that you see me create. I'm not going to change or alter something that I don't feel confident in putting out. So yeah, so I mean, again, professionalism is a key thing for me. So I do my best to treat them with respect and professionalism, but it's only to a certain extent to where I'm getting my time wasted. I just have to cut the cord. You just have to pull the plug at that moment.
Did you block him?
No, I do my best not to block anybody, but it was just like, hey, I think it's best if we work and we part ways. And they rebutted, but ultimately I allowed my silence to do that. And now I think he understands.
I'll put it this way: when people pay you, they tend to think that they own you. So
yeah, no, you're hiring me for a service that I provide, and now I have to provide said service. And if you're going to critique that or take control of that, it won't work out.
Right. But that's something I have not personally experienced, but I've heard the stories of people experiencing that when it's like, oh, when somebody's giving you money, they think that everything about you is theirs, your time,
Nope.
your energy, and that's not the case.
Like you go to a tattoo artist so they can tattoo something that you want, but they're going to do it in their vision. You're not going to tell them, oh, can you go darker on here, or can you bold the line here? Like, hey, you came to this tattoo artist so they can do what they do best. Give them your idea and they'll work with that. Just don't critique their stuff while they're mid doing it. Like, oh my God, that hurts too much. Can you go lighter? No, I'm going to do it the way that you came to me to do.
Yeah. I can tell you're getting frustrated just thinking about this guy, just everything.
Yeah, you got me a little going, but no, it's okay. I have no problem talking about it with you, George, because this was like 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah. So, well, with that being said, let's talk about the most generous client you've ever had. Who is like this? Who is the nicest or most generous person that you've ever done a shoot for?
Well, now that we were on the topic of him, I would say Raul was definitely one of them. Is on IG, it's Lambo Raul. This guy's worth millions, and this guy's a total baller down here. And the one thing about him that he's the nicest individual, and he's always early. I've shot with so many rich people, and they're always late. 10, 15, 30 minutes late. Every time I shoot with him, from his Bugatti to his SVJ to his Ferraris to every car he's ever had, he was always 10 to 15 minutes early. And he always be like, hey, Kyle, I'm just here. I'm just going to hang out. I'll probably nap for a little bit till you get here. No rush, no worry. I'm like, dude, why can't anybody be like this? I work with good people like my buddy Omar, the owner of Velos Design, super nice individual. Now I'm at the point in my career where I only work with good people. So I could just one-off name like Omar from Velos, John at Anarchy, the entire team at Boston Wheels, the entire team at Strauss Wheels, the entire guys at HRE, all the guys that Adams Polishes, Champion Porsche. Dude, I could go on and on and on. All these companies that I do business with, I just love working with good and genuine people. My buddy Fred, you guys have probably seen him, Pet Fred on Instagram. Nobody really knows him personally. I'm very blessed that I know him personally, and he's one of the nicest guys. My buddy Jose, dude, I could keep going. There's too many. And then all my best friends too. So I only like to associate myself with good people, good, genuine individuals that want the best for me and I want the best for them. So I guess another thing that could be a part of someone's success is who you spend time around and who you choose to hang out with.
So now let's talk about dream cars, right? So what's your dream car? If you could have one car out of the entire planet, out of all the cars that have ever been made, ever will be made. Oh, well, maybe not.
Top three.
You have to name a top three. You can't name a top one.
No, I can't name none because there's no such thing as a perfect car. So the three: Carrera GT, Lexus LFA, Aston Martin DB9, DBS. I grew up watching Daniel Craig and James Bond, and every time he went up to the DB9, I fell in love with it. From the opening of Quantum of Solace, of him driving the DBS through the tunnel, getting shot at, I'm like, dude, that's the car. That's the ultimate gentleman's car. The Porsche, the Carrera GT is one of the greatest cars ever made. V10 6-speed manual, amazing car. And then a lot of people say it's the hype train. I don't. I think it's one of the nicest cars that I've ever seen, the Lexus LFA. Still to this day, I remember when that car, the 2011 commercial came out of that car on the back of a dyno, and they used the exhaust note to crack a wine glass. And I remember when that commercial aired on live television, I was a little kid just the entire time. And the digital cluster it had to shift so fast because the clutch couldn't shift fast enough on a normal analog cluster. So the Lexus had to make a digital one. And that was one of the first digital clusters ever made. And that was back in 2010, 2011. So, yeah. So I'd say those three cars, the Aston Martin DBS, DB9, and then the Carrera GT and the Lexus LFA. So ultimately all V10s and maybe one V12. So they're all big motors. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk about this podcast specifically. What made you do this interview?
I loved how you approached me. I loved how you were being very nice and kind. I always feel like those that, that take the opportunity and the shot to grow their platform. It only takes that one person to help them along the way. And when I was a nobody, I asked everybody if I could shoot with them. I asked, from the richest of millionaires to the cheapest of individuals, I asked everybody for all of them to give me an equal opportunity or an equal shot for me to grow my platform. And I'll still remember all those that said no, or like, who are you? Like, they looked at me and frowned upon me. And you messaged me very nicely, very
Thank you.
passionately, and I told myself, I'm like, I was in his shoes once. It only takes, every smack at the stone every day to chisel away to make that statue. And again, dude, I just wanted to help you out in any way that I could, George. I loved how you approached me. I love how you cold DM me randomly saying, "Hey, dude, I have a podcast. Can I interview you, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. No, I'm a normal human being. Anything that I can do to help you." Of
Thank you. That means a lot.
course, man.
I do appreciate that. I value myself. I pride myself on being polite, so I appreciate that.
Of course, kindness is the greatest. It's the greatest ally, I would say.
Yes, I agree. I would have to say that too. I feel like there's not enough nice people in the world.
Unfortunately, there isn't, which is why you want to be unique and useful in your own way. Be memorable.
With that being
And we might
said, I
not
think
remember each other's name. Oh, who's the tall guy with tattoos? Yeah, who's that nice guy? Oh my God, what's his name? What's his name? Kyle. Yeah, him. Or oh, who's that great young kid that was so passionate, very nice, very nice. The one that interviewed George. No, it only takes being memorable and useful and kind. That's the components of being a good person.
thank you, and I agree completely. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna stop the recording. We'll talk a little bit after the show. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words to the audience?
George, I appreciate the opportunity, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you cold DMing, creators out there to further grow your platform. I think you're killing it. I think you're very well educated. You're asking the right questions. You're very humble. You're very nice. And I just wish you nothing but the best. So ultimately, this is all thanks to you, George. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
No
I
problem, man.
appreciate that. All right. In 3, 2, 1.